Okay, welcome. Good evening, everybody. As my eye starts twitching again, I don't know what's been going on for the last few weeks. My eye just randomly starts twitching. I am Melissa Kretschler. I am your host of Melissa's Monday Madness, and my guest today is Julie Shapiro, who is also a mindset coach, and I am absolutely fantastically excited to bring her to you to get her perspective on mindset coaching, what she's looking for in her ideal clients. Oh, I'm having issues today. And go from there. So this is really fun-loving. Feel free to engage, comment, ask questions, whatever it is that you feel you want to participate in this conversation with Julie and I. Feel free, share as you want. I'm going to go set a couple things up while Julie introduces herself. Ignore my husband and children in the background. And we're just going to keep going.
Okay, that's good. All right. So should I be like introducing myself now?
Yeah, absolutely. Introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about yourself, what your business is, what it's called, and then we'll get into some questions.
All right, sounds good. Okay, so I'm Julie, and as Melissa said, I am a mindset coach, also a yoga teacher. I meld the two of them together to create programs for female entrepreneurs so that they can become more confident and step into the best version of themselves, especially when they are transitioning maybe from a full-time 9-to-5 into the entrepreneurial world. It can be a scary, sort of uncharted time, and I really have found that yoga is a nice way to utilize the body and the mind to help you move forward into that adventure.
Perfect.
Yeah.
That is awesome. Okay, so I'm just going to quickly run through this. So you mentioned that yoga, absolutely yoga. So now you combine your yoga in your mindset coaching, or are they separate?
Well, I do have like an initial consultation just to kind of see where they're coming from, where they're at, because that helps me to incorporate the verbiage that I use when I am putting together the practices, because each practice is individual. Each practice is catered to where that person is at that moment. So, we talk a little bit about where they are, from a physical standpoint, and then, what their goals are is, how they want to feel and how they want to show up and how they want to present themselves. And then we talk about where they're at, sort of up in like the mindset portion of it. I've worked with women who are transitioning, really, like I said in my introduction, transitioning from that 9-to-5 into a more sort of unstructured entrepreneurial journey, and they're not quite sure what to expect and what to and how to make the next steps forward. And when I'm picking my postures and I'm picking my practices for them, I'm thinking, okay, does this person need to open their heart, become, trust themselves? Do they need to gain perspective? Do we need to maybe do some twists to look at things differently? That kind of thing. So
that's awesome. I really like that. I've always been interested in yoga. I struggled with my own mindset issues, and I was so terrified to go and do yoga classes and get all relaxed and fart and all this other stuff. I don't know if I've ever actually, I think right after I had my first child, so probably about 6 years ago, I think that's the only time I ever did try yoga. And I think I did it once because I'm a shallow breather too. So when I breathe, I don't do really deep breathing, and it's just, for mindset coaching, intuitive coaching, and the stuff that we do, there tends to be this stereotype that it has to be a certain way or it has to be done, you know, like meditation. Meditation drives me nuts. It is absolutely valuable, but so many people are stuck in this is what its purpose is, this is how you do it, and aren't finding a way to do it for themselves. So that's really interesting that you would take yoga and individualize it for your clients. That's amazing. I really like that.
Well, that's the nice thing about yoga. So yoga, the purpose of yoga is to prepare you for meditation. And for me, I would kind of sort of agree with what you're saying with, you know, for me to sit quietly for me to just sit down on a pillow and quiet my mind and really get right into the meditation, it would be very hard for me. And yoga helps me, and I found that it also helps my clients as well, clear their head and channel the energy so that by the time we get to Shavasana, where we're completely relaxed, it's way easier to lay there in silence or sit there in silence and be able to be in a place and be okay with yourself. Because you've kind of gotten out all the anxiousness, and you've stopped the leaking energy, and you're really just, everything is just channeling from root to crown, crown to root, root to crown.
Absolutely.
Moving nicely.
And see, for me, the point of meditation, and people are like, oh, but meditation is to clear your mind. Now, in a sense, I agree with that, but for like 95% of me is like, no, that's not why. For me, meditation isn't to clear your mind, it's to clear your emotions, relax your emotions, relax your mind, relax your body, so that you are capable to process whatever it is that you need to process during that time, right? For people who have ADD or ADHD or millions of children running around like, you know, you and I probably do, it's hard to have that time and that space to say, okay, I need to clear my thoughts. No, I have way too much stuff going on in my life to be able to clear my mind. So when I meditate, that's the perfect time for me to channel those thoughts and say, okay, I'm not dealing with these in any emotional fashion. I'm going to sit down. I'm going to relax my body, my mind, and my soul, and be able to, you know, consciously go through those thought processes. Okay, well, this would normally stress me out. I'm relaxed. Let's talk about this right now and keep going, right? So like I said, I really like the fact that you incorporate the yoga into there. And I'm, if I didn't live an hour out of the closest town, I'd probably be doing yoga in town. But I'm definitely considering starting it at home just to have something else for me to do. So if anybody watching is interested in yoga, make sure you start doing that. I am not documenting my yoga challenge because this is not going to happen. But I definitely suggest you try it out if you haven't already. Okay, so yoga, since we're talking about yoga already, how does yoga change your mindset? How does it make you confident? Because I know you and I talked about that in the pre-interview. And you had said yoga to physical and mental space and, you know, bringing it into your life. Like the confidence aspect, sorry. So how is it, like, what exactly does yoga bring into it?
So the way I've seen confidence come through for me is that because the practice channels the energy and gets me in a place where I'm not all over, I can really then come forward and be calm and relaxed and put forth who I am with confidence. I guess, how do I explain this? So for me, what I have found is that after I've practiced, I feel lighter. So let's go back to what you were saying with consciously thinking about that. So one of the things I like about and one of the things that you were saying is that meditation, isn't about necessarily like clearing your mind. And I have to agree on some level with that as well. As I heard just a couple of days ago, I was watching a film on consciousness and on sort of the mind-body connection. And what this one particular woman was saying was that it's not about clearing your mind and ignoring what's going on, but more about being conscious and aware, but not, like you said, attaching anything to it. Just knowing that it's there and just being aware of it. And yoga does the same thing in that, I particularly like heart openers for building confidence, because it's opening up my chest, it's opening up my heart, it's opening up a channel for me to be able to really listen and tap into where I might be feeling like I'm not confident, and it slows me down, and I say, well, why is this happening? And then I have that time to breathe and focus on, okay, this is the intention. I want to just let it go. Just let go of the fear, let go of the anxiety, let go of anything that's not going to allow me to step into the best version of myself.
Mommy, okay, go.
Does your daughter ask for permission to go to the bathroom too?
Yeah.
I gotta go. Mommy, I gotta go. I'm like, oh, go.
Yeah, she's 3 and 3.5, and yeah, Mommy, you gotta go potty again. Okay, go.
Yep, I live that every day.
Yeah. Speaking of which, so I was writing down a couple more questions that I had for you.
Sure.
When it comes to yoga for you, so yoga, well, here's a statement. Okay. Yoga is another technique that we can use for meditation.
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah.
I really like to see it as the preparation of the body for meditation.
Yeah. I really like that. Now, with that, how long would you say is an ideal yoga session? Sorry.
So anywhere from it's really all about where you are in your body, physically and up in your head. So I'll use myself in this example. After I had my second, you go through the whole recovery period, and I wanted to get back into practicing regularly. What I found was that there was no way that I was going to be doing anything more than 10 minutes. And eventually I kept doing the 10 minutes, a couple poses, couple postures, something that felt good for me. And then I was like, oh, and then I started to flow, right? And I'm like, oh, yeah, I'm going to do 20 minutes now. And then I worked my way up to, 30 minutes. And then, so it's basically working your way to a point that feels good for you, because the point of yoga is not to drain yourself. So it's not like going out for a run and putting in all the hard effort and the pounding of the pavement and really, not burning yourself to death. I love to run and I don't see it as a burnout, but I do see it as more of a physical, pounding of the pavement, getting out there, getting my heart rate up, really going for the gusto, right?
Yeah.
It's about going for the gusto, but at the same time, drawing in energy as well. So you're not just expending that energy, you're also pulling it back in. So, it's, I hate to say, 10 minutes or 30 minutes or an hour.
Whatever you feel comfortable with.
I really feel like it's up to the individual and what they feel that they can do. And as far as like meditating afterwards, I'll be totally honest, I'm lucky if I get 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Because right as he's like, I'm like, okay, I'm into Shavasana. You hear in the background? My husband's out there. I'm like, I gotta go. Oh, that was a nice 5 minutes.
Yeah. I totally get that. So that actually leads into my next question. What do you find? What are your thoughts? Instead of what do you find, what are your thoughts on being an entrepreneur and a mother?
I think it's a lot of fun. I think that it's challenging, but I think that's part of why I think it's fun. It's definitely about trying to find that balance isn't the best word, but sort of aligning everything so that I feel like I've got a good balance for myself,
Structure.
to spend time with my girls and at the same time also spending the time that I need to plug away at the computer. But knowing that I can do that from anywhere in the house. So like I can sit at the dining room table and I can take a look, turn my head, and there's my girls playing with their toys.
Yeah.
Or I can be down in the family room with them if I need to be. Knowing that I can be home for them and provide them the opportunity to grow up on their own schedule and on their own time and at their own pace, and I'm not sort of cramming them into a shoebox, I guess, right?
Yeah.
Just like forcing them to have to, they get to thrive on their own, I guess, and that's really what I want. I grew up that way. My mom was a stay-at-home mom, and or if my mom was working, my father was home because he did trek work for a while. So I got to have that comfort of growing up and being at home and having the, waking up in the morning and having my mom or dad there. And it's nice to know that I can provide that same for her. But at the same time, I also get to do something that I love, and I get to, make money and earn a living and it's a lot for me.
It's the best of all worlds, right? Where you get to be that stay-at-home parent, but at the same time, you're providing value and you're expressing your worth and helping other people transform their lives.
Absolutely.
It's definitely amazing. I would say that my biggest challenge being a stay-at-home mom is just being a mompreneur, as some people call it. Is just when my husband's not home, when they're screaming in the background because they're both home. So that would be my main one, would be just whenever I decide, okay, I'm gonna go live and do some readings, or I'm gonna go live and do my interviews. It's like, Mom, what are you doing? Where are you going? I've left you alone for the last 10 hours, but as soon as you go live, I want your attention, right? So that's the entertaining part. I would have to say it's 100% entertaining.
Yes, it is. Oh my gosh, there's nothing. My 3-year-old will be playing with toys, right? All day long. And then I'll be like, okay, I'm gonna go do a yoga video. I'm just gonna be up in the dining room. Just give me 10 minutes. And then the next thing you know, Mama, I do yoga with you too.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
All right. So next question. For your mindset coaching, who is your ideal client? What is your elevator pitch?
So my ideal client is the female entrepreneur who is just kind of entering into that world of entrepreneurship. She is looking to have confidence to be able to show up in the online space. She is looking to have confidence in being able to speak her truth and be able to make decisions that are going to best help her in her pursuits. She's the typical client that I seem to be attracting is between the ages of, she's usually between 35 and 55. She has a spiritual side to her. She's open and willing to see other perspectives and, you know that it's not just black and white, that there's, you know, that shade of gray, and she wants to be able to tap into that and be able to, you know, trust her intuition.
Do you find that age group, the 35 to 55, is when a lot of women are feeling like they've lost themselves, because some women are just entering motherhood, some women are just coming out of motherhood, not coming out of motherhood, but obviously the birth to 18 aspect, or even birth to 15, 16, right? When they're a little bit more self-sufficient and not up in your hair. That's usually the I hate you stage.
Yeah, they don't want to be around you anyways.
Yeah, no, my oldest is 16, and
Okay.
like literally I've said before, he wants nothing to do with me. He lives with his dad. He's completely disowned me, and I don't blame him. Honestly, I don't. It's, you know, he's got to figure out his own choices, and yeah, when you push away the one person who'll be there for you for the rest of your life, you're kind of going to get in a little bit of trouble. So it is what it is. But with your clients, what kind of time frame? Like, do you offer a time frame that you work with them, or like a packaged amount of time? What are your options for your clients?
As of right now, I have I offer an 8-week package. We meet once to twice a week, depending. So if you want to do twice a week, it ends up being 4 weeks. But if you want to meet once a week for 8 weeks, then it has to be 8 weeks. And the time frame is really what works for them. What's nice is that because I'm not having to travel, or I'm not having to rent a space in a studio, you know, within limits, I'm pretty much available to teach whenever, which is sort of the fabulous part about the doing this through Zoom. That's how I use Zoom, and it's also nice because then they also can get a little recording of the session, so that they can practice it throughout the course of the week and come back to it. And I offer them, so based on what we talk about, I will offer journal prompts to go with the yoga practice. So we'll talk about mindset, what they want to accomplish, what they want to feel. I put together the postures, for the practice, and then I will send a journaling component so that they can sit down and reflect on what they just went through, what came up for them. I just worked with one woman who told me that, she told me what was going on, that she had to make some major decisions. We went through the practice, and then 20 minutes later, she messaged me and she goes, I just made the best decision I could have ever made for my business. Thank you. Because her mind was clear, she was open, and she was ready to take the leap of faith and go for it. So
Absolutely.
that to me was just like, that was a huge win, and it made my day. I was like, that's awesome. I'm so happy that you really trusted your gut, and you did what you felt was best for you. And so that was cool. So that's kind of where I'm at right now with packaging and how I do sessions. So it's just a matter of finding a time that works for both of us, and we just put it together and we meet and see how it goes. And we're very laid back. I'm trying to, the structure is, for me, is more in the package and what you get when you're working with me. So that's the yoga practice, the mindset prompts, and the mindset work. But as far as like, you know, I only work it between 3 and 5 or between 9 and 2. No.
So now do you think that's a boundary that you're going to put in place going forward?
Well, there are some boundaries. Like I don't do 5 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
I also do not do 10 o'clock at night. And that would be Eastern Standard Time. So I try to have, you know, and I also do not do weekends. So
Yeah.
it has to be Monday through Friday. You know, anytime between like 7:30, and I mean, my last appointment can be anywhere between 7:30 at night.
You're a lot more flexible than I am. Actually, you know what? When I first started doing like readings and stuff like that, I was anytime. I didn't care what time it was. Now, I specifically for my coaching, any form of my coaching, it is between 10 and 3. I, you know, and 3 days a week, because Monday is my day. Monday is literally my day. I do whatever I want. I do my interview series, you know, it's my start of the week where I'm all pumped. One of my kids is not in the house. You know, I get to do whatever I want Mondays. And then Fridays is kind of like my shopping day, right? Because I live an hour out of town. So my girlfriend and I, that's every Friday or every second Friday, we'd go in shopping, right? So it made a lot of sense. I may change it a little bit, but that for right now is the way it is. But so with your clients, now I'm going to say idealistically, because being realistic as a coach, doesn't matter what practice you're in, and I'm going to say this to the world, it does not matter what coaching practice you are in. And one of the business coaches that I follow actually mentioned this the other day. It is not your responsibility as a coach or as a client of a coach to expect that you're going to get the transformation that you want out of the coaching package unless you're doing the work to get it done. So if your clients are doing the work as they're supposed to, or whatever way fits for them, what is your end result for them? Like, what are you hoping for them to achieve in working with you?
So depending on their goal, you know, I had one client that I worked with, and her goal was to be able to do split. Like she wanted to be flexible enough that she could do a split. Well, she worked on it. She was diligent. She was, you know, she got right on it, and we got down to business. And you know, along the way, we talked about why there was some resistance around, you know, when she would get stuck on something, you know, what was going on? Was there something happening, you know, outside of the yoga practice that was causing her resistance to hold on and tighten up? And as we worked through that stuff, all of a sudden, ding, split.
Nice.
And she was thrilled. She was like, never did I ever think that was going to happen. And there we go. So, you know, and then, but at the same time, I also have, I'm currently working with a woman who just wants to be stronger mind and body, and be able to make decisions from, you know, her gut, and to feel confident. And that testimonial that she sent to me about her being able to make that decision and feel really good about it, and then have good things come from it, was a testament to what was possible. So it's hard, because it's not like, I mean, if the goal is to lose weight, then I can help you get there, and we will go through the steps, but at the same time, you have to put forth the work. It doesn't matter whether you're wanting to lose weight, or you're wanting to become more confident, or you're wanting to achieve a specific posture. If you don't put forth, like you said, if you don't put forth the effort while you're not with them, the result will never happen.
Yeah.
And that's part of the mindset work, which is where I felt like I had to move away from the fitness world because mindset wasn't being addressed. And
I
you
love it.
work with these people and you know that success is possible for them.
Yeah.
But because after they walk out of the gym, they don't do anything, or they allow life to get in their way. Maybe they lose a couple pounds, then they're back to see you 10 months later, they've gained all the weight back. And it's just kind of like, but look at what's happening. Look at your lifestyle, look at what's going on. You're not making any changes. That's why the weight came back.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I really had to walk away from that industry because there was no addressing it. It was, oh, just take this shake, or oh, just do this diet, or just do this. So it wasn't, basically, that's why I moved. That's why I niched down into yoga, because the yoga really addresses the mindset. And
oh, absolutely.
I've seen better results so when I was transitioning from training and doing fitness stuff to yoga, a few of my fitness clients wanted to try yoga. And the results that they got from practicing yoga and understanding where their mind was together with their practice, their results were way better than when we were just doing fitness alone.
Yeah. So I did write a couple things down while you were talking there. So I always say, not always say, people think that, always say whatever. Mindset is absolutely the key to success. And the reason that I say that is because people don't understand that in order to be successful, you have to have the right mindset. Like you can't, if you can do anything you want in the world, but if you don't have the right mindset, you're never going to feel successful. You could have $1 million and still not feel successful because your mind's not in it, right? So that's a huge one, and I totally agree. Hi, Brenda. I got a shout out there. So I kind of wanted to see if this is, so using yoga and mindset. So hold on. Transformation using yoga and mindset for open-minded women who are yearning to change their lives. So that's incorporating those both and allowing women to, whatever it is their goal is, find their confidence, lose weight, make decisions in their business, whatever it may be, that's what your client will, as long as they put in the work, that's what they'll gain.
Yeah.
Perfect. So when you first started, now let's get to the nitty gritty. When you first started, what were your limiting mindset beliefs? Because as a mindset coach, you've already acknowledged that you've had those beliefs, right? In order to be a mindset coach, in my opinion, you have to have been through the hard stuff. You have to have been the type of person who went through all that negativity and in spite of it said, no, this is not how my life is going to be. This is how it's going to be. And just changing your mindset in that. So if you are willing, I'd love to hear your story. And I'm sure anybody watching would probably love to hear it as well.
Sure. So, one of the things for me was, one of my limiting beliefs was that I wasn't good enough. So I did my yoga teacher training, and I really looked up to the instructor who was teaching. She, did studies in an ashram. She practiced, she studied oh gosh, this is not going to come out right. Bhagavad Gita. It's like a book of the different branches of yoga and like the philosophy. She's
So
very
it's like the
well,
yoga Bible.
kinda, yeah, yeah. And in a sense, you know, it talked to, you know, it kind of gave you the way of living. And she had worked with lots of very renowned yoga instructors. And she just had this way about her, right? Like you walked into a room and she would start teaching class and you just would like completely let go, right?
Yeah.
And then there was me, the personal trainer in the room. And I'm like, I am so like, I really thought for a really long time that was a negative thing. And it really stopped me from doing a lot of things like teaching online and putting myself out there. You know, I did a couple of classes that I felt safe doing, mostly older people, because old people tend to be less judgy. They love you regardless because you know they're just sweet like that for the most part. And I played it very safe, and I didn't venture out of it. And you know, I kind of tapped a little bit into it with my clients, but I didn't really like go for it with them because I was afraid that I was going to give a bad impression of, you know, of yoga, and I wasn't going to be able to be all spiritual and fluffy with my words. I'm not fluffy. You know, so that really held me back. I really felt like I wasn't good enough. And then at the end of the teacher training, I brought that up to the woman that was teaching, and she said, what did she say to me? She said something along the lines of, you have to just be you. And whatever it is that you provide, people are going to love because they're going to like you and they're going to like your style. And I was like, oh, okay. All right. Yeah. And then I had to sit with that, you know? And then I decided, you know what? I gotta get over it. So I asked if I could teach a yoga class at the tennis club I was working at. I mean, I didn't know who I was going to get, what I was going to get, style, you know, I mean, who had done what. And it didn't matter whether they were beginner or they had done yoga regularly at one of the local boutique yoga studios. Every single one of them came up to me and said, I really enjoyed your class. Thank you for teaching. I can really tell that this is your passion. When are you going to be teaching again? And at first I had a really hard time even saying thank you. I was just like, oh no, oh please, thank you for coming, and oh, I hope it was good enough for you, and blah blah blah. And then I realized that I'm not like allowing myself to say, yeah, I can do this. So one of my challenges for myself, and I still do it to this day because it's almost like a habit. It's really kind of, it's always there, but you got to be conscious of it. So the one thing I always do is when somebody says thank you to me, I say, you're very welcome. I acknowledge and I accept the thank you. Or if someone gives me a compliment, I make sure to just say thank you, and I stop. I don't, go any further, because as soon as my mouth opens up after that thank you, I know it's going to be, oh, but you didn't have to do that. Oh, thank you so much. Oh, no. So I don't. And I got to tell you that for me was a huge game changer. And that's when I realized that as I stepped into my own practices and I started to tune into who am I and what am I doing and why am I doing this, it became easier for me to say thank you and nothing else. And that's when things changed. That's when I said, you know what, it's time for me to get online. It's time for me to start working with people. I am good enough. I have the experience. I've been doing this. I've been teaching yoga now for 5 years. I have been in the fitness industry for 17. Talk about, whoa. The day I thought I'd say, oh, I've been doing this for 10 plus years was like, I can still remember it. I'm like, oh yeah, no, I've only been doing this for 5, or oh, I've only been doing this for 2. Like, someday I'll be able to say, yeah, 10 plus years, and now I can say it. That's kind of scary. But seriously, that whole, I'm not gonna, and it's always there, and I know it's there. But the difference now is that I'm conscious of it, and I'm aware of it, and I can squash it before it comes out. And that to me is the coolest part of mindset work, is that anything, your mind is strong enough to change if you really want it to. If you really want a different perspective and you want to be happy or confident, balanced, aligned, you have that within you. You just got to want it.
So I know this is completely off topic. What are your thoughts on mediumship?
It's intriguing. I have never personally experienced it. I have never, I don't know much about it. One of my sisters saw a psychic, and she walked away with some very interesting and insightful information that really nobody else would have known. So that to me was intriguing. So I really don't want to make a judgment on it, because I don't know enough about it in order to make a judgment. And that's one thing I've learned that I've also come in my mindset work, is that the less I place judgment on things, the happier and the better I am, because I'm more open and willing to learn and gain perspective. And it gives me a better view. I feel like I'm able to receive more when I'm not like mediumship.
Okay, so I'm a psychic intuitive medium.
Okay.
I don't offer my mediumship anymore to my own clients, even, unless it comes up.
Okay.
So a couple things have come up while you were telling your story. I was getting messages, and so I'd like to share those with you. Now, if you're open to it, I can do it now, or I can do it later. I'm not going to go into a lot of detail, and this is why I don't offer my mediumship, because I haven't built it to a level that I believe. I know that I can do it. It's like those limiting beliefs, right? It's not something that, and I don't have the desire to build it right now, because that's not my focus in my own business.
Well, and isn't that part of the whole thing too? I mean, I'm a very good personal trainer. I enjoy working out with people. I mean, I enjoy that stuff, but it's not a passion. It's not a desire.
Yeah.
It's not a love. So I don't move forward with it. So I think it's true of anything. I don't think that, but yeah, I'd love to hear what you.
So I've got like a grandfather figure. So I want to say grandfather or uncle, but a lot older. I'm not going to say like 80s. I want to say like 60s, 70s that he passed. I want to say that he's got like really white hair or like very light gray to white hair. He's shorter. 5'9", 5'10", like he's not, unless it was just his age that kind of made him seem shorter.
Okay.
Now, any of this resonating with you? See, and that's why, right? Sometimes you get messages and maybe they're for somebody else. They could be for somebody else who's watching. Anyway, so whoever, I get the inclination of the army. I get that he was a reader. I get that he had throat issues, and that possibly a smoker or like a pipe smoker. Glasses was a big one. I see him wearing glasses, and proud, but kind of stuffy. Like he was gruff. Very refined looking and very distinguished, but his personality was very gruff, and almost standoffish.
Okay. Before I ask the next question, I'm going to ask this question. Can you see the pictures on, can you see anything that's up on my, can you see the pictures?
I see one. And the spirit that I see is actually underneath one of those pictures.
Is it to my left or my right?
Lift your hands a little bit higher.
Wedding ring side or not wedding ring side?
Not wedding ring.
Can you,
I can't make out anything in that picture. It looks like water and trees, and that's all I can see.
That's my grandfather. He passed in his 80s, so younger than my grandmother.
Mm-hmm.
But older. That's like when you said 60s, I was like, oh, maybe not. I mean, 80s old.
Originally, I said 80s. That's kind of, and see, that's why I don't offer my mediumship unless it just spontaneously comes up, because I do second guess myself quite a bit when I'm doing it.
The gruff, that was my grandfather. He was a big teddy bear, but anybody else, he either called them a putz or they were stupid or they were a twit.
Yeah.
That's totally my grandpa.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's so cool.
So now, did he wear glasses? Even reading glasses? Yeah, because that's probably where the reading came in. And did he smoke at all?
Yeah, he did in his early, up until almost, I think my father was young. My father said they used to smoke with the, windows up. He used to turn green. Yeah, they all smoked up until one of his brothers passed from lung cancer.
Yeah. With his throat, though. Now, I don't necessarily think he passed from his throat or anything like that. That could just be a deep voice, like a very deep voice, or like the gruffness that I was talking about. That could just be, Yeah,
no, there was nothing really gentle about him.
Yeah. Was he Did he have an accent too? Like not a hard accent, but you could kind of hear it every so often.
I mean, unless you're hearing some kind of maybe a Southern, because they lived down in Florida. That's where they resided. But I never picked up on one.
Yeah. Like I said, it's not very big, but
that is so freaking cool.
So now the proud comment, that was to you, but I didn't want to say that just in case it wasn't your grandfather. But yeah, when I said proud and stuffy, like, it's like he's telling you he's proud. And that's, I think, why he kicked in and made me see him while you were talking about your story. Because he wants you to know you're proud, but at the same time, with him being so stuffy, that's not something he would actually say.
Never.
Right? So it was like, no, like,
yeah,
it was almost like you had to pry it out of him. It's like, yes, I'm proud of you, and like just turn away and walk away in a huff or something like that, right? Like stomp up the stairs. And I didn't just say that.
To talk about emotions or feelings or anything like that. Like he was very closed when it came to that kind of stuff.
Now, was he in the army or military or anything like that?
He was not. So when you said military and army, I initially thought it might have been over on this side.
Yeah.
His grandfather over here. He was in the military. Very proud of being in the military.
Sorry.
That is okay. I'm glad it's not me.
Well, that was our first. She stole his phone and tried to hide with me. And now she's like absolutely devastated. So I think that's probably my cue to get off here right away. So lastly, I'm going to ask you, do you have anything going on that you'd like to share with our viewers? Anything that you can tag in the comments when we're done or share on my page to kind of give an idea of what's going on in your world. Link your Facebook, your website, whatever it is. You can share them directly to my page. And yeah, whatever's kind of just going on for you and what people can expect coming up right away.
As of right now, I just have the 8-week program, Flexibility, Focus, and Flow. And that is my 8-week program where, we'll be working mindset and yoga. It's ongoing. So, I mean, there's no, there's no set date. But they can find more information on me at yogafusionfit.com. And that's about it. That's the excitement going on around here.
See, my excitement right now is I'm laughing because she literally threw a fit and just cried over absolutely nothing. 3.5, right? Because that's just the way it goes.
That's what they do. Yeah.
But my daughter, when she starts crying, ends up vomiting. Every time she cries, she vomits. Like, I guarantee, I don't know whether it's like a lack of breathing on her part or so my husband's livid and I can hear him from the living room.
Did she just puke?
He's like, why? Why do you do this? You're gross.
Better him than you.
He's totally pissed.
That's great.
So I'm going to totally promo really quickly. As you can see, guys, I don't offer it unless, of course, spirits decide that, they want me to start yipping. I am a psychic intuitive medium, and with that, I actually, along with my mindset coaching, I also have psychic intuitive coaching. This is where I take you on a 15-week. I'm actually thinking of bringing that down, but I like the 15-week mark. 15 weeks, we go into understanding what your intuition is, what your psychic and intuitive abilities are, building them, and you know, making it so that you can, if you're a medium, you can, by the end of the program, if you're a medium, you're going to be able to do readings, card readings, pendulums, crystals, chakras, all of that fun stuff is detailed out specific to you in that program. Because again, with my meditation, for me, meditation is not clearing your head. But it is clearing your emotions. So I teach you how to take your own intuition and build what works for you. Just like Julie did with yoga and confidence and mindset. Build what works for you, make it work for you, and provide it to whoever needs it. So that is what I do. This is what Julie does. Make sure that if you're watching the replay, you let me know. If you have any questions, I will gladly answer them. If you have questions for Julie, I will forward those questions on so that she can answer them as well. Make sure that you tune in next week for Melissa's Monday Madness when I'm hosting my mentor. So the lady who got me on my intuitive journey and started all of this wonderful stuff is actually joining me next Monday. But Julie, I thank you so much. Thank you for coming on, sharing your knowledge, sharing your wisdom and your story with us, and how what you do helps transform other women's lives. Make sure that you link your page, your website. You can link it right on this video, or you can link it directly on my website. Feel free promo. Let everybody know what you do and how they can get a hold of you for your yoga mindset, because that's fucking awesome.
Aww,
that's
thank
very
you so
fun.
much.
Anyway, everybody have a wonderful night. Julie, you have a wonderful night. Go snuggle your little one if she's not sleeping already. I don't think she is, because I think I heard her yipping too. Dads are on duty. Dads.
Yes, they are. Well, thank you so much. This was a lot of fun.
Absolutely. You are very welcome. And everybody have a wonderful night. Lots of love, lots of positivity. And I hope your Monday was just as rock awesome as mine. Talk to you guys tomorrow.
Bye.
Bye.